So here we are. The brief was to create a soundtrack with a 80s sort of bass line, a spooky violin, play some spooky samples, and some crazy drums. So the interface in Bespoke kind of goes from left to right in that the instruments are all about signals and generating signals. So let's begin with a note sequence. We need to be playing, but it's not attached to anything. And we can't attach that to the output, our speakers, because this is just signals at the moment. It's sort of information. So we need to turn that into sound to synthesize it. So let's just get one of these, quite a few synthesizers, and try that there. And can you see that this line's gone blue, which is giving us a big suggestion? You think, oh, okay, that's a bit high pitched. I can drop the octave here. So I'm quite liking that at the moment. These bars are the volume. There's nothing actually there. So maybe if I drop something in there, like, or I can randomize it. I could just say you select the until it. I'm going to go for a really simple one. Let's just see what I get. So once I've got it the way that I like it, I can start changing the way the sound is synthesized. So I might change the filter. Oh yeah. And at this point, I can play with all of these, but I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay. I think to make it a bit sort of longer there. I might want to add effects to the sound. Now I can add effects to the sound, but I can only add processes to the signal. So for example, to give you so show you what I mean, the brown things like arpeggiator can come in here, and I can put them in before that goes into here and then into here. Let's maybe tidy up the spacing, give it room to. Let's maybe turn this one. And I can try different sorts of. Let's try. That'll probably. That's too quick. Let's try on the 16 now there, and we can alter the arpeggiator. So how? Okay, that's okay, but maybe drop it down a bit. Okay, this is kind of getting there. So let's now think about some drums. So I'll just turn this down slightly. So let's get a drum sequencer, and these bottom ones are the bass drum, and I can't put that into there because it's blue to browns, but I can get the simple drum player. Whoops. Oh, when you click the name, it sort of expands. There we go. So here. Okay. So I can try and maybe. I want to make it a bit more boomy. So here I might add an audio effect. Can you see it's blue? So I might want to add some distortion to sort of make the bass drum a bit more gritty. Let's have a look. That's sort of sounding stronger. There. Now I could come in here and just code in my own. Whatever I wanted. Don't know what all these do. But I can also make another drum sequencer, and then just say randomize it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an audio effect called gain, because this is like its own volume control. So I can put that into there. No, I can't, because I have to synthesize it first. I always forget. Right, drum player. Okay. Drum player into there. into its own volume control, and then into the shared volume control. Now, the regularity of this, I think that's quite good, but let's say we wanted to just sort of make it a little bit more varied as it plays. We might have another drum sequencer, let's say. Randomise this one. And we can use a really strange thing called a note pocket. Where is it? Where does that come in the alphabet? There. And what that does, let's make this a bit smaller. We can take the output from here into the pocket. No, we can't. We can take the... yes, we can. Yeah, that's right. We go from here. This is brown. And then we can go from the top one into the drum player. And we can put another one into here. And the second one into the drum player. And what we can do, we can then set the probability. So it's always, I mean, it's quite a complicated sounding, let's make it a simpler sounding, let's do 8th note. So it's sort of jumping between the two at random sort of points, which is quite interesting. So now we've got this, I want to get my violins going. So for this, I'm going to use what's called a plugin, which I went and downloaded separately. And there's some really fantastic plugins. This is from Spitfire Labs, I think. And this is the BBC Symphony Orchestra, recorded in London. And I want to play this with a keyboard. So with all these tools on the right hand side, this will drop down here. You can, I can sort of show the scale, which is coloured. I can control it with typing, but it tends to clash a bit with typing the user interface of Bespoke. Or I can set the root octave, and I think I want that to be quite high, like 5. And you can see that alters the keyboard, so I can see I'm in this key here at the moment. If I change this to B, you can see that my this has changed, but also now this will play because it's not plugged in, so let's plug it into the VST plugin and then over there. And so now that might... Well, that's quite spooky. But I think I'm going to make it more spooky with a chorder, so that when I play one note, it plays multiple notes. So I reckon an augmented 7th might sound spooky. I honestly don't know. Let's try that into there. Can't really hear any difference there. Let's maybe... I'm just picking these at random. Let's maybe do it across 3 octaves. I don't know if is that what that means? A -7. Oh yeah. Spooky sounding. But I think I can do a bit better. I'm going to turn down where's I'm going to turn that synthesizer over there a bit. And that's not sounding very bassy, is it? Even so we'll probably replace that. But coming back to here, one of the absolutely fantastic plugins that I got is Valhalla Supermassive, and that adds reverb, and I love it when plugins have lots of presets, because you know they've even got a preset called Make Everything Better, which let's see if it does. You can hear how that's sort of much. Oh, it's got like a long echo now. Okay, yeah. So that's good. Now over here, one of the interesting things that you can do. Let's see. Yeah, well, if we change that, that's interesting. Okay. I'm trying to see. We don't want to change the pitch, I don't think. See, I don't really know what these. I don't know about music synthesis, but with any of these, where you've got a parameter anywhere can be changed with a modulator. So let's create a curve looper. And what this does is it sort of is generating a signal that goes up and down. So I can pass that. Let's just do something silly. Let's put it into the... Can you see? So that is now changing it over time. And I can define that I want this to be over 4 notes, so it's slower. That's interesting. Okay. But I could work on this and turn it and add effects and do all sorts of things. But what I'm going to do is rip this out, because there are VST plugins that are like Surge, incredible synthesizers, where you, again, lots of fantastic plugins. So if I'm looking for a bass, I might say, well, let's try Distorted Bass 1. I haven't got it playing at the moment. So let's feed that into there. And these are, and feed that into, where was that going? Straight into the output there. Let's see what that sounds like. Ooh, now we're cooking on gas. Right. So in here, if I knew what I was doing, I might sort of say, okay, well, let's try and, was that? I'm not sure what these do. I'm looking for a center return. But quite often what happens is when you fiddle with things in the plugin, they then appear in here, and you can control them with a... so let's maybe... let's have a look at the BBC Symphony Orchestra. Let's just have a look here. So, interface auditor here. I've got to click that and then move it up. There we go. So here's my violin. And I can choose different violins. I can choose... And what's this here? I think that might be the reverb. But now that I've fiddled with that tool, it should appear... The reverb can appear down there, and I could then control that with a modulator. But one of the other modulators that's really interesting is the one that's most fun. It's Fubble, I think. Here we go. Because, you know, lines are all well and good, but it'd be much more interesting. That's the kind of line that I want. And I can take this output here, and let's control whatever's in there. Doesn't seem to be working. Oh, I think I might be getting it line up right. There we go. Into there. You see, it is changing the sound. It's not. I've not picked the right parameter. Right. So we're nearly there. All we need now is some spooky samples. So let's get a sample player. Now samples are audio files that are on your computer, so I can, oops, not loop one, I can load one. And I found some on free ones online here. Some really, let's say, corrugated iron sheet there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this into Supermassive, yeah? And then let's see what it sounds like. Oh yeah, a bit louder. You can hear the echoes there. That's Supermassive doing that, and that's the spooky sound. So I'm quite liking that. But what if this envelope that I'm using, or am I using? I don't know. I'm going to feed this into the speed. Let's see what that does. Can you see? It's kind of nonsensical. I think it's even playing the sound backwards. So it's kind of going up and down. So we could maybe we could actually change the parameters so it maybe doesn't go completely backwards. And, I can't quite. There we go. Move that to there. So there. So what have we not used? We've not used pulses, but there are lots of other. So here. Yeah, we've kind of got everything we need. So now what we could do, could sort of turn off let's turn off these notes. And let's turn off these drums. So here's our start of our spooky soundtrack. And then we could bring in a drummer. You can play a sound, and this becomes a sort of a performance. Um, let's turn some up. And there we go. And if we click Write Audio now, from the beginning that I opened the program and started working, boom, that has now recorded. Really interesting from the developer who said, the minute I press record, I tend to mess things up, but quite often I do good things and then think, oh yeah, that was good. I wish I'd recorded it. So this kind of works backwards, which I really like. And one of the interesting things is that you can, I think there's a sample here, you can actually sample, sort of record little bits of what you're doing and then use those as samples that play. So the music can not only record itself, it can continue generating. There are all sorts of different moderators where you can sort of say, if this synthesizer plays that note, then change this to that. There's a control sequencer, which this is the bit I'm interested in, because it whatever you tie this to, so for example here, and if I make this a little bit bigger, can you see the scale over here of the overall tune? I can actually then change. I could sort of design the song. You know, if you're doing 12-bar blues, it'd be like E type thing. And that's incredible. So yeah, that's everything, right? Well, it's not everything. I've not really explored pulses, but they're kind of seem to be separate sort of signals. You can see the keys changing with the keys of the control of the song. And there we are. That's it. Isn't it incredible?